So I've come over today. There is loads to do, but first of all, let me tell you what I've been up to so far. So I've got like this trellis system sort of thing. I just put a pallet on the top. They're like workbench legs. And then I just pretty much then just put all the seedlings out that I needed. Most of them were brassicas. Put a net over to protect them from pigeons and also cabbage butterfly. And then, yeah, I left them outside because it was going to be quite mild last night and they seem to be doing okay. So the plan today is that Johnny has brought over some new shelving units. My ones, I noticed, were starting to rust and they probably would have lasted this year. But for future years, I wouldn't have them. So I've had a little look. They're okay. They'll be okay for like storage. So I will offer them out to plot holders. But for all the seedlings that I want inside the polytunnel, and I'm back and forth with like heavy compost and things on there, especially when I put the runnerbeans trays in, I've decided I'm going to use these new shelves. So I have to take the old shelves out, put the new ones in, and then I need to go down to the grapevine garden. I've got some like hard fencing mesh that I want to bring up, cut to size and put in there. So let's get that done. So I'm so glad all that's done now, and it looks really, really smart. The polytunnel's looking a little bit better storage. All the seedlings now are looking safe, and it just looks much neater. But I also want to talk about what else I got up to the other day as well. So I came over, potted up some of the petunias. They're like a dark, deep red, like a wine. And I figured if I put those in two smaller pots and one taller pot, they will cascade over the wine barrel, and then in late summer it should look lovely, all that deep red flowers hanging over the barrel. So that's what I've done. So while you're watching this, I'm actually at Malvern, the garden show, and I'm really looking forward to seeing people like Amia, Nanu and Cringe. There's many YouTubers that I haven't met before that are going to be there, so I'll show you that next week. But I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to the garden show. So yeah, it should be something new to show you anyway. So I've popped over because obviously Linda loves a celebration, so she's probably got a bottle of bubbly and a nice cake to celebrate me hitting 6,000 subscribers. So let's go get that. I brought some ice lollies as well, so we'll probably have half an hour or so chilling out on Linda's plot and then back to the garden.
Congratulations on your 6k, Danny. Woo! Cheers!
Well, that was really nice of Linda to yet again celebrate another 1,000 on my channel. We had a nice bottle of bubbly and a nice caterpillar cake, which is one of my favourites. So thanks very much. If you haven't already, take a look at Linda's channel, The Feel Good Garden. I'll pop a link in the description for her channel as well. But I really should be doing some gardening now, but it's such a hot day. I'm in the shade. And I think I'm going to spend a bit of time, and I advise you all to do this. Sit back, enjoy what you've done, and plan for the next thing. So I've got this bed at the back, and if you can see, it's got some weeds in it, and it's actually dropped down a foot. This was filled last year right to the top, so it's dropped a good foot now. There was things in there like kohlrabi, all my overflow plants like cabbages and everything else in between. But I think I need to fill this up at some point and maybe put some salads in there for this year. Now I have got some plans for this area, but yeah, for another day. It won't be long now before I'll be planting out the baby boo and jappy little pumpkins, and hopefully they'll romp away over this archway and they'll all hang down like they did last year. So I'm hoping to have more success than last year with them. I only had 2 plants, but this year I've got 6. So yeah, fingers crossed. So this bed, even though that I have already weeded it and taken out all the volunteer potatoes, there seems to be a few more still dotted through. So I need to get that done for sure. Absolutely need to get that done, because the beans will be planted in here as well. And if you can see, I direct sowed some and they're already coming up. So fingers crossed some of these won't be attacked by the slugs and they'll romp up this this trellis. So the pond area is looking so peaceful, and there are so many tadpoles in here now, and they tend to like these sloped rocks here. I remember them from a childhood, seeing the tadpoles basking on those rocks. I think they get closer to the top and it's a bit warmer up there, and before long they'll be hopping out of this pond, little baby frogs, so that'll be quite nice to see. The comfrey has come back that I planted last year, and it's doubled in size, so a little bit higher now, and then I'll chop that back again, and then I'll pop that in to make some feed, and then it'll carry on growing again. So it's nice to have a little area with some comfrey in it. This apple tree is absolutely beautiful. It's one of my favourite ones, and I'm so excited to see some actual apples on it in the next couple of years. This is called Tickle Pink. Now, I've talked about it a few times, and it's on an M28 rootstock, but it's absolutely beautiful. Inside the apple and outside are both pink. So I'm really looking forward to this tree growing. Now, I have placed it here, and I am thinking in autumn of digging it up when it's dormant and moving it so that it's got more area to grow. So there is a few ideas for this tree, whether or not to leave it on this plot or move it on to the other plot. So we shall see. It's always a plan, right? Now, this area is a bit of a dumping area. There's a lot of wood there which I want to clad the shed when I build it. This is an old coal bunker, a very old coal bunker, and I am thinking about how I can use this. I do tend to use the top flat shelf for like hardening off plants and things, but this year this area is going to have a good revamp, I think, and I've got quite a few ideas. I want to move the IBC tank to here so that I can get more water collected off the guttering. So yeah, a few plans for this area. And the callianthus, look at them now. They are growing a good 12 inches here now, and I'm hoping for a nice display. I put them in like a triangle area in this corner, so I'm hoping that, you know, they'll give a nice show of display late in summer. The beans are looking okay here. There is a few nibbles on some of these leaves which are close to the beams, so I'm sure the slugs are climbing up on you and then taking a little nibbles, but they're looking okay. They're looking all right. A few people have commented and asked about the update on the herb garden, and if you can see, it's looking absolutely lovely. I'm so pleased with this area. We've got so many things in here now, from parsley to Babington leeks to chives. There's just so many things in here. Lemon balm, sage, thyme. And I just love the fact that there's such a variety. It's a shame that the sage didn't come back, but I planted one next to it just in case, so that'll have to be dug out. And I think that's one thing I have learnt by becoming a gardener, is that sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and sometimes things will grow really, really well and you'll put them in the same conditions the year after and they don't work as well. So don't beat yourself up if that happens. Sometimes it's a bit of luck, and sometimes it is what it is. I'm sat here sweating, thinking it's too hot to garden, and I'm thinking, it was only like a week ago I was moaning it hasn't stopped raining and where is the sun, we really want the sun. And I've noticed gardeners do that a lot, you know, they always got something to comment about the weather. But today does seem to be one of those days that it is a bit too warm. But that's one of the reasons why I love the fig and olive plot so much. I hate the heat. I don't mind some sun, but I hate the heat. And this plot, through the middle of the day, is half in shade and half in sun. And that's the way I've designed the plot as well. So I put a lot of things at the back, like salads and things that don't mind a bit of shade, and all the sun-loving things like the onions and the garlic and the flowers and the beans, they're all at the front of the plot. So there is a reason why it's designed in that way. There are a few things that you can push, you know, a little bit of a boundary with, but when you're designing your garden or your plot, visit the garden or the plot at different times in the day to see where the sun is, and, you know, be practical when you plant things, because there's no good you putting things right at the front of the plot that will bolt, you know, if there's too much heat and they don't like the heat and they like the shade. Coriander, for instance, you know, at the back of the plot, nice and shady, keeps the temperature down a little bit. But yeah, be practical and think about where you plant things in your garden. So in this area, I've just planted a lot of summer bulbs. So I've put in here a pile of like gladioli, and there's many other different varieties. So I'm hoping that this now bulk up. I put the taller ones at the back and the medium sized ones here and the smaller sized bulbs here. So I'm hoping that this bed here will fill up, and if it doesn't, if there's gaps in this bed, I'll go out and buy some bedding plants or put a pile of the plants I've got in the polytunnel dotted in these areas. So fill up your beds, you know, you don't want to see bare soil. So I've got a bit of a dilemma. So most of the seedlings now and plants that are in the polytunnel are ready to come out, but the plants and the crops in the beds are not ready to be harvested. So there is a little bit of a battleground going on now, which one takes priority. But a lot of those are going to go down to the grapevine garden. I'm going to be planting up next week. Piles of them will be down there. But we're having issues at the moment because we haven't got no water on this side of the site. There's a burst pipe and they're waiting to have it fixed. But yeah, so we're running out of water on this side as well. So gardening stress, eh? I've also gone round and dotted a pile of nasturtiums all around the beds now. Different colours. So I went round and put reds, whites, yellows, oranges, variegated leaves ones all around. So they'll all be different all around the plot. Now a lot of them will be just for show or just to bulk up a bed, but there are also some jobs that the nasturtiums do on my plot, and one of them is to detract the black fly from the runner beans in summer. So they love the nasturtiums and they love the beans, but they'll go towards the nasturtiums more. So if you're going to plant out some beans this year, plant some nasturtiums nearby, and trust me, the black fly will absolutely decimate those nasturtiums. They will be sacrificial plants, but I'd rather them eat the nasturtiums than decimate my crop on the runner beans. So last year I discussed with you about me opening up a new channel, about me going around and building a camper van and doing it up and traveling around. But now I went back to the drawing board and then realised with uni, with the 2 plots, with the channel growing and work, and then obviously I was quite poorly for quite a bit of the year. That hasn't happened. However, I am actually starting a new channel next month, and if you're interested in it, I would love you to come along and support it. And if you find it interesting, then, you know, carry on watching the videos, I guess. It's not going to be so much gardening, but there will be a lot of nature involved. So as you all know, well, most of you might know that I actually kayak as well. So I've actually got myself a new kayak, and I'm actually going to be filming my trips. So I'm going to be going around lakes, reservoirs, canals, and places around Wales and even England all for the next couple of years. And I'll film my little trips and I'll show all the scenery and all the wildlife, because I know there's a beautiful family of kingfisher a few miles away and they're absolutely a joy to watch. But I thought I'll start the channel up. I'm not really worried about it, you know, becoming a big channel or growing or anything else. You know, this is going to be the main priority. But in summer, when all I got to do on this plot is water and do a bit of weeding, the summer days will be there. So I may as well use the camera, and I may as well, you can come along with me on those trips. So if you're interested in that, in a couple of weeks' time, I'll put a link to the new channel because I haven't thought of a name yet. So if you want to think of a name, pop it in the comments below and I might consider it. So I'm going to be going on kayaking trips and maybe some treks up mountains and things as well with the dogs. But I just thought I'd show you, because a lot of people ask about these mountains right in, you know, behind my plots. And I thought it'd be a nice way of me showing you from there, overlooking all the scenery that we got in Wales. So if you're interested in that, let me know. Put a comment below, and I'll be for sure I'll put a link in the description in a future video. So it's another day and I've got loads to do. I want to plant up the lettuce, put some runner beans out. I want to take a gamble. All the shelving's done now inside the polytunnel. That's a bit of a mess. I'm going to have to sort that out. But I've decided, since it's a nice warm day, it'd be pointless me sweating off in the polytunnel. I'll leave that to a cloudy or rainy day, and I'm focusing on the garden today. I also want to put out some beetroot, runner beans, water some things, plant some more spring bulbs that I didn't put in for summer bloom. There's a lot to do.
Full stop. Can't believe I live in your thoughts. such a wonderful delight. Forgo, give up everything that I own. Yeah, I'd give it all up now just to be with you somehow. Unexpected love was found. You're the rose in a garden, and it shows if I'm honest. You're the leaves in mid-August, and I've come out here to say that I love you. Ooh, ooh, you, ooh, so slow. Hold you in my arms, won't let go. The world around could pass us by, a thunderstorm, a lightning strike, as we hold each other tight. You're the rose in a garden, and it shows if I'm honest. You're the leaves in mid-August, and I've come out here to say that I love you. Ooh.
Linda's over. What have you come for, Linda? Come on in, you may as well come on. You don't want to show her legs. Let me put the camera up.
Ooh, they look nice.
I've chucked most of them, but do you want one of each of these now then?
Yeah, that'd be lovely, thank you.
There's different colour ones and all.
And when I saw mine, you can have some of mine if you like.
Well, I got plenty here anyway, but yeah, okay. Shall I get you a tray?
Yeah, that'd be good, thank you.
We like to share and swap around on our plot, so
These are good, these are good.
so is she. Right, let's get this done. So I filled up this with some well-rotted manure and some compost and put some pongo beans in here as well. So hopefully this will give me an early crop of those as well. I've got some to put in the beds, but for now I can move this back and forth the polytunnel if I want. But it looks all right there in that little tank. Gemma gave it me from Gem in the Garden. So inside the polytunnel now, it is looking like a warehouse of plants. There is shelves after shelves after shelves of plants and seedlings, but yeah, I'm pleased with it. I'm really, really pleased with the amount of plants I've got this year for both plots. Well, that was a nice surprise, Linda coming over from the Feel Good Garden. It's always nice to share your plants anyway, and I have plenty of nasturtiums dotted around the plot now, from whites to oranges to yellows to variegated to red. So there's quite a lot of colours that I've dotted around. And if you haven't seen, I've just planted a lot of salad out, a lot of runner beans, a lot of more lettuce. There's loads of things. There's lots of things. Onions, spring onions, flowers, you name it. I put it on the plot today and I'm taking a bit of a gamble. But I've got things hardening off as well. But the plot is soon filling up to the brim and I've not got enough space. I'm Danny and this is Grow Up.